Let's start right now with this Bring Civilization Back Trust, chapter 85 or 86, if I'm not wrong. I always have a lot of things to say. I'm just staring on this new uh, display now, which is this beautiful artwork from my aunt. She passed away about 20 years ago, but I finished installing it. Like she painted in, it says here, 1952, and then 74 years later, okay, 2026, I finished. I set it up so it's standing. She had it on a warehouse, okay, and then I fixed it. So it's on display right now, and it's part of the Bring Civilization Back Trust. Maybe we can travel in time from 1952 to 2026 through the artwork of my aunt Ida Ronco from the Italian-Argentinian community. Both of her parents were born in Genova, Liguria. Okay, so now it's my current look. I wouldn't say it's a new look because I'm always the same, okay? I don't have new looks. I just have a new pair of glasses, but I have used glasses like this in my entire life. So it's something like, oh, we have a new look. What I'm doing is more like a witnessing if I'm aging or I'm not aging because I have on the Bring Civilization Back Trust now has 7 years, like it was 2019, 2020. So it's 7 years, 7 years of Bring Civilization Back Trust, and nothing changed. What is scary and concerning is that I'm right. I mean, I'm watching some of my old videos. Like I'm saying the truth. I'm saying what it has to be done. I'm saying what all the I mean, it's an entire life like that. You know what I do for a living is international business development. So I'm the doctor for your business, but I have my own business. Okay, so usually I am the key person of businesses I conduct. So it's my own business at the end of the day because I am the key person. Okay, I'm the contractor, the connector, the one that connects all the parties involved. Okay, the builder, I'm thinking in Spanish now. It's been 6 years in Argentina now. Spanish words are coming to my mind instead of English. But anyway, albañil, that's the construction worker, and the painter, and the ingredients, the supplies, anything you need to prepare what you want to do. Okay, I think one of the number one businesses I have developed is the SaveTheAmazonToday.com. Okay, it's active. It's on year 3 now, and I had everything. I had the lanes. I had the planners. I have the intricacies. I have the only thing. I mean, I had the whole thing. And then you ask, how many plants have you planted in this 3 years? Not even one plant was still planted through the SaveTheAmazonToday.com. Okay, not even one plant yet. Okay, and I have all the factors. Okay, I have the people to plant, I have the where to buy the seeds, I have the clients, I have people willing to pay, I have people willing to create content to promote. I have the whole thing. Okay, but on that specific case, the issue was the cost of the internet publicity cost. It's something like the cost for each tree was $25, but we need to charge $125 in order to process the whole thing and be able to plant one tree. And this $100 is this inflation of IT advertising services. And that is repeated in a lot of things. For example, I canceled my Airbnb Airbnb listing, yeah, because it was the same thing. I'm like, Islam thing for me to the entire massive amount of work for me to rent one room for $15, I should be charging $115. Who pays for this $100, or where is this $100? Okay, so where is the owner of Airbnb? How come? Because I understand on the full job of renting a property, like a room, a property, they call it, that's be a room, a bedroom, okay, and for $15 a night, I but there is a $100 involved of direct costs on taxes, painting, maintenance, cleaning, sheets. But there's something that's not clicking there. It's like the real cost is 115. People are paying me 15. I'm like, where are those $100? And I think it's Brickle, his name Brickle, that's the owner of Airbnb. And then we go back to the United States Congress, the European Union Parliament. I'm not sure about the United Kingdom Parliament right now, but those are powerful. That they should actually come with a regulation, come out with a solution plan about the chaos, because it's chaotic. Okay, well, how we're living nowadays, and so. Bring civilization back trusts, year 6. I'm proud because all my businesses, they're very good businesses, okay? They're very successful. I have a permanent, consistent, successful stories, okay? Documented, the whole thing. The issue is finances, okay? Like when it comes to the crimes have been victim of in maybe the entire year 2000s, okay, since the start of my career, by 20 years of being victims of fraud, and it's financial crimes, okay? I have several cases, several collections, always finance, and obviously it goes connected with something that has happened in the 90s in South America, but it seems in America was in the 20s, okay, which is the liberalization. The liberalization is when the state is privatized and leaves to be, it's not public anymore. Am I talking a lot of different concepts all combined? I don't know, because this is like me talking to myself, okay? When I record these videos, I don't have an audience, I don't have people asking me for stuff, and also I try to be quick, okay? So it's a bit complicated, but the liberalization, neoliberalization, something of the government is meant to make the state as small as possible. But it reached a level that the state basically does not exist. Okay, and that this is not happening only in the United States. It happens also in Argentina, where I am right now. Okay, which means when you say the government does not exist, well, but what is the government? Okay, government is something public that belongs to the public. So when you're a public employee, you are working in a public situation. What is public? Well, the basic foundations of something public is called the common law. The common law that works for everyone. So this is a common law, and that's something that we do not have nowadays in Argentina. I'll talk about Argentina and the United States, okay? Those two countries, we do not have access to common law, okay? Countries like Brazil or the European Union, there is common law. The problems are a bit different there. The problems there is how they're managing their common law, okay? I have issues in those countries as well, okay? Let's focus in the United States and Argentina, because that's where I am right now, and my business, my work is through the United States, not from today, okay, since 1999, okay, so it's 27 years of working through the United States or directly in the United States, and my business is American, and my business was established in 2008 by Mr. Myself, okay, so I did that in 2008, so it's 18 years on business, and well, what civilization are we going to bring back? Because on year 2026, I'm coming to a lot of very sad conclusions. Then what's the saddest of all? Quorum. In law, it's called quorum. Quorum. Quorum means when you have a hearing, when you have an audience, when you have like a group of people, a society, okay, and there is a problem, okay, can be any problem, a disease, and then there is needs to address this cause, okay, this problem or this solution, how we build a new bridge. And let's discuss building this new bridge, okay? And then there's need of quorum. How many people are interested in building this new bridge, okay? The saddest part is that most people will not show, they will not even state their opinion. So if something public, okay, governmental, public, wants to establish a new bridge, they need to understand if the people really wants it or not, because that's democracy, that's the system we live. So there's no quorum, like people won't show up. I'm talking this on the defense of those who are working in public matters, which is not my case. I mean, my case would be as a self-independent contractor, okay? Like I'm integrated with society, okay? So, but I am a private company. As a company, I'm a private company. I work for profit, okay? Or sometimes I do donations, volunteering, but it's a profit. It's a company that works for profit and spends its profit in what I want to, okay? And so it can be social causes, can be problems that are related to the public, that are not mine, okay, that I can just contribute, like taxes, like paying taxes, okay? That's my relationship with government, okay? I am not government, okay? But I do support some candidates, I do support some political parties and things like that. I'm involved, okay? But I cannot talk as government because I am not government, okay? I'm talking about the public, okay? And I see, because when on my lawsuits and my cases and my causes, like most cases, like people who are directly related to those cases, and the people that will take benefit of what I'm fighting for, because I have conditions to really uh, apply for those, to fight for those, because I have conditions. Not everyone has conditions. I'm blessed. I'm lucky. Okay, I have time. I have some funds. I have some conditions that I can, knowledge, and professionals that assist me. Okay, so I can. And there are, for example, and there are cases that they're beneficial for a lot of people, because if I win that case, I mean, a lot of people are going to win as well. And then I don't get quorum. Like, oh, it's only me. Like, since the world has changed, nobody cares about these issues. I care, and then I have cases that are for real, and I'm like, oh, this is real. Like, for example, the case L975/19. That's the one I talk the most because that's the one is of public interest. It's the case against Priscilla Zuckerberg and not only her husband, but also her other guy that was her partner as well, like the boy who's now living in Singapore. And Eduardo Saverin is a Brazilian citizen. He used to be American citizen. He renounced the American citizenship and moved to Singapore with his Brazilian citizenship. And in number one, they're not really that important. Okay, people put them in the pedestal like they were super important. Like I mean, they're just not a brokers. They have this IT thing. Is just, I mean, it's not really. It's not, I cannot even understand like why people put these people as so important. Honestly, okay, I don't get it. Okay, but it's just because they're famous, I would say. Okay, and but anyway, but that's a case that is of public interest, and it has been on the U.S. Congress like 5 hours of interrogation, and the most expensive Congress of the entire planet. Because I'm positive that was not a cheap hearing. Okay, 5 hours of Priscilla Zuckerberg husband. Also, please, I'm talking about Priscilla because they're Jewish, okay? The Zuckerbergs is a Jewish family, Jewish Ashkenazi. I get some comments because people take them as European or Christian. I'm like, no, everybody dresses these clothes, okay? Like everybody looks the same nowadays, okay? But they still have the freedom to do their faith in private and be who they are, and they're Jewish, okay? And then on the Jewish community, it's matriarchal. That's why by law, it has to be taken in consideration that it's a matriarchal family, so that Priscilla Zuckerberg is the boss. It's just time wasting, and that part I get a bit lost. Why the U.S. Congress agreed on bringing the boy like Mark Zuckerberg to talk when the whole world knows it's Priscilla Zuckerberg who should be there, or at least the couple. I do sales for life for 30 years, okay? The international business development, a lot of it's sales because that's the scope I'm responsible most of the time, okay? So the international business development will be to arrange the idea generically speaking, and then when it goes to practice, then it goes to engineers and then things get more technical, okay? Accountants, okay? And as a sales guy, like once I have Jewish clients, I need to reach the matriarch. I need to reach the lady who is behind the scenes or not, or honestly, the spokesperson, the person, the front person they'll be talking to, who is the boss of that community. And the Jewish community is matriarchal. So by law, they need to come as a couple. There's no point on bringing the man if it's a matriarchal. Like, what's the point? Like, she's not there. Like, she's the responsible, you know? And then that's why if you think about most of the interviews and things that Mark Zuckerberg, he doesn't say anything. He just play games there because he's that's what he does, you know, like. And but anyway, like this case, okay, L975-19, it was substituted by the L1221 because we consolidated all the bills. You're asking like um the saddest thing is most of that, because I have a lot of friends that are journalists. They are hired, that are journalists, they are artists, they are content creators, they're writers, they are podcasters, it's really big, the universe of media. I was not that familiar with that universe years ago. Okay, but now I am. I've been part of some shows and all that, so I understand the whole. I can understand. It is interesting. I understand how they catch attention because it's interesting people, and the way to relate to each other. It is interesting as well. Okay, because a writer talking to a poet, they're talking to an actress, and the whole thing, they definitely have a hard time understanding mathematics, okay? And that's why uh, they get easily used, right? With some of my case, I'm a business guy, so I can do some sort of a joke and be some funny or record this video right now. But I know there's money involved. I know how this industry works. I have an MBA in this international industrial management, so I in Germany international, like I speak several languages, so I know how the industry works. I know how many figures are involved, and I know the power of that person saying something, you know, about in public about something he trusts, and I know there's a value there that has to be paid, and then they get no money, like zero. And then I have lawsuits where I'm fighting for a cause that's 100% beneficial to them. Some of them even work for me or are related to me or part of it, like in my team, and they do not support the cause. I have attorneys like attorneys that they have the entire paperwork, and there's not in 5 7 years they never really. It's only me. Like they do nothing. Like that part, I have no clue. Why is that? Because sometimes I wonder, and some conspiracy theories they may say, "Oh, it's uh, like Priscilla's mafia. You know, she has all this team of people infiltrated everywhere because she does not want to pay." I don't think that like that. Like I don't see that really. Like because at a certain stage it would, you know, but I don't see that. Like I don't see that. I don't get really. I think there is a religious crisis, right? The religious crisis. Because, for example, me in the Babel Tower we're living, okay, that's this mix of all sorts of people, everybody dressing the same, everybody trying to look the same, especially whitish looking, which is still the most popular look. People call us racist, whatever. They hate all this business of calling white people racist, white people this, white people that. But the whole world still preach like white looking styles. Okay, so people try to shape their hair and the whole thing, trying to look. So it's popular to be white, and but then the thing is, when it comes to now I got lost with this topic because it really like that's a totally different topic, like the racial thing, and I was not interested in going to those waters right now because that's but anyway, maybe I should go because I totally got disconnect from well Facebook. That's it. Okay, one day they'll pay the invoice, and people who are co-workers, journalists. I have even videos there that like, for example, I do have registered that lady that was murdered in Mexico a year ago. Once my payments are unblocked, I will find for sure that lady. I will find their lady family there that I think she was, sorry the expression, was hooked, okay, by TikTok. It's Wang, right? Like a Wang, her name, Wang and Xin Yong, the owners of TikTok. No, those are the owners of Opus Clip. No, that's Opus Clip. It's not TikTok. TikTok was another guy. But anyway, uh, I mean, they were responsible, that's a lot. And then it goes to the countries who are aligned with the French Revolution. Okay, now let's talk about something important. Like this civilization which I'm talking about is a civilization created after the French Revolution. Okay, that was in 1782, this in the 18th century. Okay, in Paris, France. I support the monarchy. I like the monarchy. Okay, I'm not an enemy of the monarchy. Okay, so I believe even the French monarchy should be reestablished. I mean, it's going to be a happier place. Okay, because it is. There is an empty seat there when countries when they have no monarchy. Okay, so that same thing Portugal, Italy. I think people are being nicer to the monarchy family. Like they do not have a wonderful life as people believe they do nowadays. Okay, why? Then because of the French Revolution. The French Revolution made something cool. Like they have Christianized Europe. They put the fraternity, equality, harmony, whatever, freedom. Okay, so create a society that did work well for like it still works well because the whole world wants to live in countries where the French Revolution ideals are there. Like see France. France overloaded the people moving there. Like even if it smells bad, even if it's cold, if it's dark, if they do not have a wonderful quality of life, but people want to live in France. Why? Because of the French Revolution. And it's overloaded with people. Okay, and so that implies on middle class, freedom, democracy, this whole thing. Okay, so that society was fine, and that's the one we want to reestablish because there was this shake in the planet due to the internet, and now the worst kind going backwards to this feudalist system, a split between multi-billionaires, like you can count in your fingers who they are, and the rest, and then the people, you know, that they then we go back to the quorum, okay? And then we have this thing about the quorum, because then we have a cause like this one, the Facebook slash Meta slash Threads slash WhatsApp slash Instagram cause, okay? And there's no quorum, like no one's interested in helping me and supporting me, or even the attorneys directly involved, and like they're like that part. I really do not understand what it is. I don't get it. Like lots of them. Something else is like I am part of the establishment myself for a long time. That one I did not know. That one I know today. I realize it today because of some news. Okay, I would say before, after the Epstein files revelation, because that made a lot of sense to me, because me as a part of this global elites, which I belong for a long time, over 20 years. And I would say maybe when I was a child as well, because also my parents were involved in global elites situations, okay? And then I was raised in Brazil, but among the wealthiest people of Brazil. And Brazil is a big country, and the wealthiest people of Brazil are really wealthy, okay? They're really wealthy. Sometimes even more wealthy than wealthy people of the United States. And so we have a lot of penetration with other wealthy people. So I deal with wealthy people, billionaires, and from different countries, okay, for a long time, okay. And so I am part of the establishment, okay? But then there are different elements, okay? There's even the maids, okay? I'll be maybe more related to maybe a maid, a construction worker of the global elites, okay? But still I'm there, okay? In that scene for a long time. And then with the Epstein files revealed, I came to a lot of conclusions about my life because I associate to that, not as a perpetrator, not as a criminal, as a victim, okay, as a victim. And actually, I do have one relative who defaulted a payment to my company and spent that money. That was a year ago, okay, less than a year ago. That was August last year, okay, 8 months ago. He spent that money at the Faena Epstein Hotel in Miami. Okay, so someone who owed me money, somebody who was supposed to pay his bill with contracts and businesses we have in common, and didn't do so. Instead of doing so, he took a plane, he went to Miami and stayed at the Faena Epstein Hotel. Okay, the Faena Hotel Miami is the hotel that it's associated as the Argentina Miami Epstein connection, and he spent about $5,000-$10,000 a day. Okay, with my money because he was supposed to pay me. Okay, but instead of paying me, he spent it all there. They do have the dog face, a bit now because he's in his 50s and he does have a bit of his faces that are falling like that, which is a sign of injection of newborn stem cells, aborted babies. And I don't think they did cannibalism or pizza parties there or sex with minor ages or things like that. But anyways, like the same people, but unfortunately that makes sense. So don't believe that the life of everyone in the establishments is easy, okay? My life is not easy at all, okay? Because I don't eat pizzas with babies. I don't do cannibalism. I don't do sex with minor ages. I'm almost like a saint. Call me Saint Augustin and Saint Thomas. I actually have two saints in my name, Saint Augustine and Saint Thomas, okay? But I definitely do not associate. But I see that I have been borderline of being a victim of the Epstein files because be transiting between the wealthy and most billionaire people on the planet. Okay, for example, I lived in Bal Harbor in Miami. Okay, this was the most expensive square foot in America, probably one of the most expensive in the entire planet. Okay, I lived there for 2 years. Okay, and they did offer me cocaine. Okay, I have been offered cocaine a few times in my life, and I never accepted. I have no curiosity for drugs. Okay, I have no curiosity. I'm not interested. Okay, and probably that I'll be maybe because that's the thing. Do I look good looking, people? Do I look good looking? Like I'm modeling. I know how to model a bit. Okay, the poses. Okay. Okay, sometimes I may look gay, sometimes I look straight, like a butch guy, very macho. Okay, sometimes I be a little bit like Flemish. Okay, but for example, when I lived in Miami, the drug lords in Miami, they would use me as a model to sell cocaine in clubs in Miami, and without my aware, I was not aware of. Okay, so they would, because I am tall. Okay, I'm 6'5". Okay, and I talk loud and I move my hair. You see, look, I have all this fashionable hair. It's a no natural, no ink, no. It's all dyed, no dyed. Okay, I have a little white hair down here. But then I'm there, and I'm dancing in the clubs, and I'm very electric, okay, and I'm there, and then people would go, and the drug dealers, they'll be dealing cocaine in Miami in the clubs there, very common, okay, in that city, okay, and then they would say, oh, and what is he taking? Who is this guy? Oh, this is what he takes, and they would sell cocaine, saying that I was intoxicated, okay. So I deal with slander and defamation for a long time. So for a long time, okay, and rich people problems, okay, and then I have been dealing with that, and they would say that they would say, oh, okay, so please, like I want to take the same, okay, and I was not even aware they were doing So, okay. And what does that, what I'm saying is because I have been offered, it happens often to models, salespeople, that usually the cocaine cartel offer drugs to you for free. That's how they hire you, okay? So you get involved with the cocaine business uh, that way, okay? And I never, like no interest, people. There's something that I am really conservative that I do not like is drugs, okay? I do not even take drugs for my health, okay? I'm even cautious to take. I'm very natural. I love organic food and brown bread and that thing. Okay, so it's very hard that I really got. I'm not interested. Okay, so 100%. That's why I'm repeating. Okay, and but I believe that maybe if I should accept it, maybe I will end up in one of those parties there, okay? Because there was parties going on in Miami when I was living there. And I still work in Miami, okay? I'm just not I'm just working remotely now because that's all over the place that we have to work remotely now. Otherwise, I would be a frequent in Miami, okay? But I have never like accepted one of the, and even there were limitations on inviting me to parties in the greater Miami area due to the fact that I wouldn't do cocaine, because as everybody would be doing cocaine, I was seeing more of a policeman, somebody working for enforcement agent, that they'll be even suspicious that I'll be even reporting them later, things like that. Okay, so but that's something that I don't do. Okay, when it comes to drugs, I don't do it them. I'm not interested in them, but I'm not someone who's going to be calling the police or telling people that someone is doing drugs. Okay, unless I have a problem with that person. Okay, or that person's high, or whatever. But I just stay away, keep safety distance. That interest, but because I'm not interested. Okay, and but anyway, maybe I believe that if I should accept those offerings, maybe I would be involved more directly on Epstein files problems, and maybe I'll be one of those people there playing. And I believe more on the victim side, okay? Because there may have been male prostitutes and all that as well, because they're not revealing everything. They're showing some the minor ages and stuff, but I'm positive there are also men involved, because there is also male prostitution, and they're not talking much about the victims, but there's all sorts of people involved, and maybe that would be or on my business, and then 100%, because I've been victim of fraud so many times, and I'm talking fraud by institutional bankers. Okay, I'm talking about the Exim Bank, the bank of the government of the United States that does the export import. The European Union Regional Development Fund is a public bank of the European Union. Okay, I'm not talking like scammers, like someone who didn't know. I'm talking about formal institutional schemes. Okay, that all of us are victim all the time, right? One of them is immigration visas and all that. I think they're really complicated, they're too exaggerated, they're not functional, they're like a bit too out of context. And so there's a lot of fraud there on institutional fraud. And I'm not talking only about the United States, like kind of in general, okay? Becomes a business. It's a business to get a visa. It's a business to get a foreign passport. It's not simple a documentation. It's an entire industry, okay? And then once you go through the entire process, like, what was the whole thing about? Something that's crazy, for example, in Europe, in Ireland, is the driver's license. Driver's license in most Europe became a business. What's your business? Oh, to get the driver's license, it's something that you may spend like, in my case, I spent like 5,000 euro in Ireland to get a driver's license, and I didn't manage to get a driver's license. I got a learner's permit, and I spent like 5,000 euro in 3 years of my life doing tests, and I drive for 20 years, and I'm a good driver. I'm a very good driver, okay? And my insurance records are wonderful, okay? And then I have Italian driver's license, I have Brazilian driver's license, I have American driver's license, I have Argentinian driver's license, and the Irish is a learner's permit, okay? And then why? Why? Because it's a business in Ireland to get driver's licenses, okay? And that's fraud, okay? That's called fraud. It's fraud. It's institutional fraud. It's a company that's committing fraud, and it's a government that's committing fraud. Governments also do fraud, and Ireland is the Republic of Ireland is a bad example of that, right? The Republic of Ireland is a lot of fraud going on in that country. Jesus Christ, the Republic of Ireland, like it's a lot of fraud in that country. Okay, I learned, for example, when I was a very naive when I opened my business in Dublin, Ireland. Very naive, and it cost me a lot of time. I have a good time. I am Irish related. My grandparents were Irish. Okay, I visit where my family comes from. Actually, it's a powerful Obrien last name, which is a famous last name. People with my attitude is very O'Brien. A lot of O'Briens, so they talk like me loud and something because of the King Brian Boru, our great grandfather years ago, 200, 300, 1,000 years ago was the king, the High King of Ireland. Okay, and but the thing is, it is fraud. It's a lot of fraud in that country. A lot of fraud. It's a lot of fraud. Like, oof, that's a lot of fraud. In my case, the European Regional Development Fund, they're frivolous also. Like, they made me apply for a credit. I needed like my business moves millions of dollars. Okay, it's not a small penny, like millions of dollars. Established business, and I follow the guidelines of life and limitations of businessman and possibilities, and then I established my company in Ireland to expand my company to it is a good location. There's a lot of good things, but I was not like I wouldn't imagine how fraud that country is, like the Republic. Okay, it's fraud. Like 100 years of independence, 110 now, and fraud, like fraud, so fraud. It's something like my business application to get a loan. It's just a job they would have to do. They robbed my business plan and my $1 million business plan. Like they robbed it, and then I found out like 6 months ago that the same people that they robbed my business plan, they purchased my supplier of cheese in Wisconsin, United States. They purchased. So no, they not only stole my business plan, but they purchased the cheese supplier that I needed the credit to process all my businesses. So they just robbed it. They robbed it, the name of my clients, the process, the whole thing. They robbed everything. And then something even more crazy is that I am reporting this to politicians, to bankers, to other bankers, not competitors of the banker. That Thomas Wiesel was the guy in charge when this crime happened in 2018. And I reported to FBI, CIA. I know every antitrust division in the United States, everything is filed like everywhere. It's just boom, file the case with documentation, copies, the whole thing. The saddest part is that there's no quorum. Then we go back to the quorum. Like, who cares about it? Like, it's really crazy. People, it's a very odd word this year 2000s. Okay, it's a very odd word. Like, because it's like what people are complaining about. What's real nowadays? That's the thing. What's real? Am I real? No, I mean, guys, maybe I need to do something to show that I'm not a hologram, that I exist. Because I'm like, am I real? Is this real? What I was doing? Because it's like, people keep complaining. I send the full paperwork like to ministers, like people, important people in the European Union Parliament, and business people, and I don't get one response. I get a call. I don't get a airplane ticket to go to Dublin. I have an attorney in charge there. Like, it seems like everybody's dead. I think it was like people are just dead. People died. That bring that. You have that word in Irish English. Bring that. But anyway, so okay, people. So let's bring civilization back. Just chapter today. which I think is the 85 or 86. I'll check it later once I post it. I'll check exactly what chapter is this today. And look, I have a lot of things going on, people. I have a lot of things going on, and I'm really interested, and I hope funds are going to be unblocked. I use unblocked, not unlocked, because I think they're blocked. It's more than locked, it's blocked. Okay, there's a block on top of a lot of things. Okay, and it's not simply to open a door now. They're blocks. They're blocked. Okay, obstructed, like blocked. Okay, and because it's I'm really happy about the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, which is on this 4th of July. I think I'm in a right place to do a nice celebration. There's a beautiful spot here in Rosario, Argentina, with the national flag of Argentina. It's a wonderful place. I'm just afraid if the right people are going to show up. It's going to be more of this horror show we're living. A lot of fakes, and I see there's good people involved. Okay, I see there's good people like me and other people, but sometimes we get, overpowered by a lot of ugliness, and then okay, I don't know, let these people do whatever they want. Okay, and we may watch and we're here, okay, because because it's the issue of the United States is because America is rich. Okay, it's not only popular. Okay, it's rich. Okay, it happens with Italy as well. I relate to the same problem on my Italian side. Okay, a lot of countries, they can do whatever they want. People don't care. But if Italians say something, boom. Okay, then it's because you're rich. There's money involved on freaking you. Okay, same thing in the United States. Okay, there's money involved on freaking Americans. Okay, so if an American wants to do a celebration, there's going to be tensions. Okay, and that's just because Americans are rich. That's it. Okay, that's simple. Okay, so but let's see how it goes. If it was going to be a very nice party, I have been promoting it a little bit, and I'm going to show the stickers. I'll go grab them. So these are the stickers here, okay? You see the 250th anniversary. I grabbed them online. I have emailed them, okay? This I got a response from the America 250 organization. They said they were very nice. They said, look, like do the parties you want. I have been giving them away, and but they say only that as I'm not in the United States, they just let me do whatever I want, because I wanted to do official, to do like if I could use the brand, because they have a brand, they have a lot of. So I just cut it, okay, and then there is a sticker here. Today I spoke to a nice manufacturer here to produce some bigger ones, because this is really cute. I'm adding all my paperwork, and I'm sending all my paperwork. Boom! I put the 250 stamp. All my paperwork here, I put it to attorneys, lawyers, and things like that. But anyway, so hopefully they will let us organize a nice event. There's about 3 months still to go, and then we will do a very cool event, and to celebrate the 250 years of the independence of the United States. But we have to keep in mind that the United States, from its independence to the secession war, was not what it is today. The modern America is more related to the secession war, the Civil War, which is August 20th, the end of the Civil War. Another important date is the establishment of the US military, which is older than the country. It's from 1775. And I have been to Washington, D.C., especially by coincidence in one celebration of the US Army anniversary, which is before the country independence. And so there are 3 dates there when it comes to the United States. The first, the U.S. Military Foundation, because first was created the military, And then this military created the independence. So there's the creation of the US military first, and then the independence. So the US military promote, conducted the independence war, okay? And then you have the secession war. Because in my perspective, the revolution, when you say American Revolution, is related to 1866. That's when the Civil War ceased, ends, and the Yankees won against the Confederates, right? And so because that's what defines modern America, and most of the expansion of the United States is after 1860. All this big, massive country that it is nowadays, it is a combination of factors, but it's more related to after the Secession War, and so that's what has to be celebrated as well. It is year 160, 60 years, because I know both worlds well, and I like the ideals of the French Revolution, because then we go back to what I spoke earlier. The French Revolution is directly connected with the independence of the United States first, and with the secession war, the Civil War later. Both wars. Okay, so there's a lot of France in the United States. There's a lot of Spain in the United States. There's a lot of English in the United States when it comes to the history of the United States, and Native American. That would be the four biggest people that created what's today the United States. And then as the settlers, are people who moved to the United States, even forced labor, such as African Americans, or direct immigrants, such as German Americans, Italian Americans, Irish Americans. That would be other crowds, right? But in the foundations of what's law, state, history, it's a lot of France, a lot of Spain, and a lot of England, and there's a lot to talk about. And all right, so it's a lot of topics here. So let's put my party glasses again. These are called party glasses. They're good for driving too, cycling, riding, cycling of the wind, and they look kind of cool too. Okay, so people, thank you for being here to listening to all the Bring Civilization Back trusts. I'm kind of talking a bit in short videos mode, because I'm talking, I kind of say a lot of slogans, and then in a part of an editor, there will be like maybe 100 videos out of this video, and that's what people listen, because people don't listen the full video, and it's a very crazy year 2026. Okay, which I believe, if you are not normal, means you are normal. Like if you're not sane, means you're sane, right? That's the slogan of Life 2026. Okay, so sleep well, who's here, and good night or good day if you watch